Birch Polypore, don't know how to say it, Pitoporus betulinus is its scientific name. It's also known as the razor strap fungus and birch bracket, because it's a bracket that grows on birch as well as birch conch, Birch Polypore. It can get really hard, but this one's quite a fresh new one and it's really soft. Best time to work with it, really. So obviously it grows on a birch poly. You'll find lots of dead standing ones with these. Today I found one all throughout the year, and they can be found at all times of year. Much better when they're young, because they're nice and soft. So you can use the whole fungus, which is pretty much as soon as it comes off of the tree. It's got a little bit there. It's not hard like some of them are, unless it's old and it's all hard. So you've got to get some of the grass and the tree bark off, clean it a bit, as much as you can. It smells very mushroomy, bit bitter. It tastes really bitter. So it can be used in a tea, but it is really bitter. It can also be used as a tincture to really draw out the medicinal qualities. You've got to simmer it in a pan for over an hour to get the value from it if it's from the tougher parts. But yeah, it is really, really bitter, so it might be better to add it to some kind of stew, so you can't taste it so much, unless you really like that bitter taste. But you know, it's not for me, it's just too bitter. But I know that it has some amazing health benefits, so I do really want to use it regardless. They're an amazing immune force. They are anti-inflammatory, anti-tumour, anti-parasitic, antiseptic, antiviral, antibacterial. So polypore brackets are an amazing immune force. They are anti-inflammatory, anti-tumour, anti-parasitic, antibacterial, antiviral, all the antis. It's also been shown that it is beneficial used alongside treatments for cancers and HIVs. It has the ability as well to stop bleeding, which is what this can be used for, a bit of a plaster. And with all those antibacterial qualities, it is a great plaster. It's also been shown to be antiviral against flu, cowpox, yellow fever, and other viruses. I don't think it's been tested actually yet with COVID. But do you know what has? Elderberries have been started to be used in the treatment. So, well, tests have been used. They're doing some testing. They're not actually used just yet. So, different things you can make, I said, like tea. I have tried to make it with tea, and it was just too bitter for me, so I couldn't do it. I am in the process of making a tincture as well, so then you only get like a few drops, so it's not as bad. You could add it into your stews or into your soups to disguise the taste a little bit. I have added it to an elderberry syrup. Elderberry's got loads of beneficial qualities too, so adding them both together is, you know, like a powerhouse medicine. So I've got the elderberry syrup with the birch polypore, so hopefully, you know, that's got some really good immune boosting qualities. Not hopefully, it does have some immune boosting qualities, some amazing ones. Birch polypore only grows on birch, so you know that, you know, it's only growing on birch. It's going to be a birch polypore. Generally though, it is inedible. You couldn't eat it, you couldn't cook it, you just have to have it as a medicine because it's got that extremely bitter taste. An interesting fact actually, in 1991 Australian hikers found a frozen corpse, and this frozen corpse, it turned out to be a mummy. It was like 5,300 years old, and they've named it Otzi or Otzi. And Otzi had some birch polypore around a necklace, like in a hoop shape. So it's a really old medicine. It's not guaranteed that you know, but it's assumed that he would have had this as a medicine and he carried it around with him. It was also found that he did have parasites as well, like worms in his body, so this would have helped to get rid of those worms. Another thing that this is good for is holding a spark as well. This is quite fresh and squidgy. When it's really dry and hard, it can hold the spark, so he could have used it as a bit of a tinder as well to carry his fire around, and it slowly burns away. And you can move your fire from one place to the next place, so you don't have to keep lighting it. So it could have also been that he used it for. He wouldn't have to make his fire by friction every time, so it would have been a lot harder those days. So yeah, evidence that it was used all those years ago. Called razor strop, because it was used to like sharpen, like as a strop for a razor, and that would have been really good because of its antibacterial qualities. And then when they're having a bit of a shave, you would have cleaned and sharpened it. Tincture. I've just been trying to work out A, B, V to proof. It's quite complicated. So I've got the strongest alcohol in our house. We don't drink alcohol very much, so
I'm gonna sit on you.
Look, could you just sit at the side of me while I do this?
I can't see it though.
Oh, are you okay? So we're going to chop the mushroom and we're going to put it in. You're helping. You're going to put it in here.
Mum, can you move to the edge? No.
In a minute. And then we are going to add our strongest alcohol we've got in our house. This is going to have to do. I think stronger would be better. So I'm just filling this little jar, covering it, and then leaving it for a few weeks, shaking it every now and then. So hopefully this will work. This is what we've got. This is what we're going with. "90 minutes later. Looks more like a gravy than a tea. So, try the Birch Polypore tea. It's bitter. I can't explain what it tastes like. I can't think of anything else that it tastes like. But it's bitter. It doesn't really have a taste, like hot water, quite earthy, and then it's just that bitterness. I'm just going to put in a little bit of sweetness. See if that helps the cause a little bit. Give it a stir. Nope, there's not enough sweetness to make this nice. But it's really good for you. I was thinking it was going to taste a bit like miso soup, but it does not at all. Yeah, I'd add it to like a soup, maybe, or a stock, some stew. Or loads and loads of sweetness. Like a syrup. Yeah. Elderflower syrup might work really well actually.